Hi, I'm your host, Tom DeSavia. Join me as I interview guests from music and entertainment from around the world about what they're up to right now. Stay tuned, because we're gone in 30 minutes.
Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gone in 30 Minutes podcast, where my guest today, our relationship spans 2 centuries. And he does a whole bunch of things. He writes songs. He's an entrepreneur. He's an actor, dancer, choreographer, famous chef. Kevin Griffin, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome, Kevin.
Can you feel it?
I can feel it.
So good to be here, to see your face, to see that full, bushy, virile beard.
I woke up with a real...
It mocks me. It's just a silent mocking of my challenges in beard growing.
Stop.
And let's be honest, you know how virile you are. You've been a test subject at USC for the levels of testosterone in your blood, how they're off the charts, and you know this.
They're down. That's the problem. The problem is you come on here just to do this, because I'm having actually those days now. I get up because I've grown my hair a little longer. I have a real bad hair day, and I'm gonna walk out, and we're gonna have our Hall & Oates moment for everyone to see that's watching this, that's not just listening to this. They have both options. Look at you. You're perfectly coiffed.
But tell me, who in the Hall & Oates, am I Daryl?
Yeah,
and you're John?
I'm John.
I'm Paul Simon, and you're Art Garfunkel. No, I'm more Art Garfunkel than.
Well, you're taller. Yeah.
I'll flip that. I'll be Art Garfunkel with the bird-like tenor.
I'll take Paul. I mean,
you'll take all the songwriting credit.
I'll take all the songwriting credits.
Yeah, you will. Art Garfunkel's playing half-empty city wineries right now.
Well, but isn't that the law?
He'd be so lucky. But now that COVID is far behind us, and everyone's playing live shows.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
So great. What are you doing right now, buddy? What's going on? Where are you at? What's happening?
I'm in my studio here in Franklin, Tennessee, and I just wrote with this artist. They're called the Serotones. A woman named AJ. She's the singer for the Serotones, and we just wrote a really cool song, and hopefully it gets cut. And I did that, and I've got a pool being put in right now, and it's making a lot of noise. But I'm just I've been pivoting, doing a lot of virtual things like this, and just staying busy in the era of the ongoing. It's waning, but in the era of Corona.
There's and it's going to be pre and post COVID, right? That's what life
pre
is
and post COVID. I feel like we're post COVID.
We're post-COVID, but it's always going to be there. It's always going to be that what we did pre and what we did post. How's it change? Go. What?
I think it's going to make things spicy. I just think it makes things more exciting. Like, is that person vaccinated? Do they have an active variant? Are they going to infect me? It just makes life more exciting to me.
It's like a guessing game. It's just going to be at the bar.
It's a guessing game. There was always what does somebody have an STD that I'm talking to? That kind of thing. Now just throw in Corona and Corona variants.
Are you going to stop being a hugger? I know you're a hugger.
I've always been a hugger, and I'm really good at the Nashville hug, which isn't a full Bristol hug. And Bristol is in Oxford Dictionary. I'm more of this guy. What's up? So there's this, and no one can really argue with that.
So you're going to keep that up. You're not going to turn into one of these elbow guys full time.
No, I won't be a Howie Mandel elbow guy. Though Howie Mandel was ahead of the curve, by doing. He was famous for the elbow bump, which was kind of off-putting. But now he seemed to be like Nostradamus.
When has Howie Mandel not been Nostradamus? Think about it. I mean, this is a whole other podcast here. But
we can't go straight into Howie Mandel. It's too soon in the podcast. Go into Howie.
All right.
How are you doing, man? And by the way, I was really excited when you dropped me a line and asked me to be on the show. And I will say that it diffused a lot of the rancor I felt for you at having not been asked already to be on the show. And I saw the usual list of people, the A-listers, Rob Lowe, and the ilk being asked to be on the podcast.
Yeah, Dick Cheney on the first season. No, it's funny. Well, the first season we start off because it's brought to us by our friends at Kraft, and it's all under the Concord umbrella. So we did the first one. It was all all Concord people, and then it was like, let's open it up. So you're in the first season of opening it up, brah.
I'm so excited, and we've got such a great history together.
It's well, and I say this a lot, and I mean it. It's funny because it's been a year since I've seen you. It's been a year since I've literally seen you. We've emailed or we've texted, but I've been seeing
Wasn't the last time we were at the Concord party for the Grammys?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right before, exactly.
right before it shut down,
shutdown.
and that was like January 28th. Let's just,
Yeah.
it still feels pretty a year-ish.
It was end of January, but it's been like that long, and that's what my favorite thing about this, aside from hearing all your stories about blah blah blah. This is my job. I'm Kevin. Blah blah blah.
So important. Blah, blah, blah.
No, but seriously, it's getting to talk to my pals and getting to meet some new people, and just you and I both like talking. It's hard not to talk for a year.
I share your love and your gift for the gab. I'm one to palaver a lot.
You've used a lot of like $13 words today. I asked her,
you know what?
Someone has a rhyming dictionary right by.
I have a personal goal that I have to use some type of 18th century colloquialism at some point during the day. Whether
or colloquialism,
prestidigitation. And today, your honey tinged words meant to lull me into submission. Your pulchritude.
I can only say words that I don't really know what they mean. Like, oh, well, anti-disestablishmentarianism then, I guess.
Wow,
right.
You need to do a book about that.
Yeah, it's the longest word, I think, in the English dictionary, and my dad always said it meant a hippie with a beard.
That your dad and my dad would have gotten along together because somebody used that word around my dad, he would have said horse shit.
Yeah, horse shit. That's
horse shit.
Would have gotten along.
Horse shit was my dad's word to just undercut anything I was excited about, whether it was a band or Dungeons and Dragons or the jeans that I wanted to get that cost more than $20 when I was in 9th grade.
I don't think you have the ability to play the brake screeching sound like they do on the morning radio. But I want to go back to Dungeons and Dragons. So that was a big thing for you as a kid, huh?
I did let that. I let the cat. I hid the fact that I was pretty handy with the 20-sided die. I hid that maybe in a little bit of shame for many years. But I've seen with Stranger Things becoming a thing, a couple years ago, that a whole new generation has embraced the magical arts, if you will.
It's back.
Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing games. And I did have my moment where I was a 13th level cleric, capable of healing with a variety of potions, and I had a cloak of disenchantment, and I can go on and on. But you don't want to lose your listeners.
I need to reconnect you with your buddy Rhett Miller, who plays it regularly.
Oh my God!
Kind of online thing, and
Rhett plays the dark arts.
Yes. Aren't you supposed to do one of these? And again, sorry for people that are just listening, but we're doing
with the hand gestures. So I just got my 12-year-old twins into Dungeons and Dragons, and we got this game table. And my 21-year-old, I have 3 sons, Max, who's 21, and my twins, Harrison and Graham, are 12. Max plays Dungeons and Dragons. So we're sitting down this weekend at the end of April and to play some Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be the dungeon master.
Of course. So they just weren't getting beat up enough. So you had to
they weren't getting beat. But there's a common thread, Tom, that runs through my life. It started with Rush, It started with Progressive Steel, my love for Rush and prog rock. So any true Rush loving fan will tell you they had a moment of Dungeons and Dragons. So
is that anything with a flute? Do you just, as a flautist, just make you lose control?
A flute or an old Moog mono synth, weaving a melody whilst Geddy Lee sings of Xanadu and the Decreed by Kubla Khan.
We've never, I don't think, ever actually talked about this. Did you miss your calling and being a prog band?
I don't know. A lot of people don't know that Better Than Ezra has a deep vein of of prog rock in our music. People know us, of course, for the pop songs, Tom, but in the deep cuts, there's some serious rough Rush-esque riffage.
Is there any flute?
Yes,
there is.
Yes, there's a flute solo on a song called "Normal Town" from our 1996 magnum opus, "Friction Baby," and it's a blistering flute solo.
Well, that was just about the time I met you. That would have been just about the time, 96, 97.
96, 97, you came over to Elektra Records.
Yes.
You were A&R at Elektra Records, I think, and we were in Woodstock, New York, doing our third album at Dreamland Studio.
Dreamland Studios, yes.
Which was a magical place. I mean,
that was amazing.
And I think that's when we first spoke on the phone. Was that?
Yeah.
It wasn't a cell phone. That was, I mean, cell phones existed, but we probably didn't have those yet. That probably wasn't in your budget. You probably didn't have that in your T&E.
But that was, I just realized I've known you quite a long time.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
And look at us. We're still doing rock and roll.
We're still doing rock and roll. Your hair's still better than mine.
Oh, no. But your beard counteracts everything.
I'll tell you, it counteracts. I can't even get into it. It repels everything. I want to go backwards now. You're a songwriter by trade.
Yeah.
You're a songwriter who sings. You're a songwriter who performs, but you're a songwriter. How has COVID, has it changed your process? Has it changed you at all? Like when we first started, did you go, what am I going to do here? Did it just stop?
Well, I think a lot of people, before the pandemic and the lockdown, telling another songwriter, hey, we're going to finish the song. Hey, we almost finished the song. Let's finish it on FaceTime. It was really a unspoken joke that we were never going to finish the song because no one ever finished. It became, an inside joke. Hey, we'll finish it on FaceTime because Zoom wasn't even the lexicon yet. But really quick, a little over a year ago, suddenly all the sessions were virtual. So everybody had to suddenly Zoom was ubiquitous, right? There's another word, ubiquitous. And man, it's interesting. A lot of songwriters I know they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't get used to doing this, just looking virtual. And, and they had a real struggle. For me, I just kind of embraced it. And I kind of likened it to the initial kind of getting your feet wet, doing it virtually. Like when you see a movie with subtitles, like someone says, "Oh, you got to watch Parasite," and you don't know anything about it, and then you sit down to watch, and you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm too tired to do subtitles tonight." But then, if the movie's compelling, within 5 or 10 minutes, you're just in. You don't even think about the subtitles. You're just you're moved along by the story. And songwriting with Zoom or FaceTime, but it's usually Zoom, is the same way. If the song and the collaboration is great and the ideas are flowing, man, it's really kind of freeing. Because when I have somebody in my studio, I got to entertain them. I have snacks. I get my Waterloo on. I got my nuts. And you're really entertaining them. But with Zoom, you're like, hey man, I'm gonna go grab a sandwich. I'll be back in 10, and everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. So It's really freeing in a lot of ways, and the song doesn't suffer. And I've had quite a few singles that have done well over the past year with writers I've never been in the same room with. It's all been virtual. So, and a lot of songwriters would agree with me that the song doesn't suffer.
Well, and I think that's great. And that's like one of the sort of underlying things of this podcast in general is to have all you cats sort of talk to each other about the very same panic that revealed itself to be a gift. I've had the same thing with work. I do A&R, as I think, a lot of our listeners know, but when it started, I'm like, you do this by taking people to dinner. That's the first step. You do this by going to shows. And
getting a lap dance.
It's been getting a lap dance at the Denny's or the Waffle House.
The Waffle House. Oh my God.
Miss getting lap dances at the
I've had some good ones there.
But it's wild. I literally was like, okay, my job's going to come to a screeching halt. And it's been really heartwarming to see, like, you can bond with someone this way.
You really can. And it's changing the whole dynamic of work, not only songwriting, but A&R, but just work across the board. I mean, everybody's realizing, wait a second, we don't need to, you can work remote. The big question with working remote is people are just going to screw around. No, man, people get stuff done. They're still accountable. And then now companies that had to have the marquee real estate on Wilshire, or insert city and, address that you had to have your address, that people are like, we don't need to be spending this kind of money. Let's put it into, other things and not having to have everybody coming into work. And so I think that's one of there's so many silver linings from what we've been through, right? Realizing you need to be home more, you want to be around your friends and family more, but the fact that you can be efficient and really productive doing it virtually.
Yeah. Well, and the part that's so archaic, you hear that? I just said archaic.
Very good, sir.
In a sentence, I ascertained that I could play your big word game.
You wordsmith, you.
It's been said. But the thing that, like, I know, like, as far as you said, like, it's opening up the world in a way that if I wanted you to write with a writer, it would be like, all right, hopefully you'll match up next time you come to LA or they come to Nashville. That can just happen. And do you think that's changed for you going forward, right?
Oh, I think I think that the virtual right is going to stay a thing, and the need for me to go. I mean, look, I would always, when I go to LA now, I do an anchor date. Like, hopefully I get a right with an artist who's signed to a label I think is going to be able to, bring it home. Right. And then I'll build other rights around that. And I really see not having to do that, being able to say, I'm going to just do a week of LA rides or man, what's been fun is there's a regular ride I do with a writer in LA and a writer in Sweden. And the three of us are in one room together and we're writing the song. Now, the funny thing is, like, we'll start at 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. for LA. And what is it? It's like 5 p.m. in Stockholm. And, at the end of the day, it's 1 a.m., for this person in Stockholm, and they're getting their dream clone while we're finishing the song. But man, we get great songs done. So I think that's going to continue. The face-to-face, there's something great about face-to-face. It still is a challenge when you're both trying to play guitar because of the latency. You can't play at the same time. That there are those challenges. So the face-to-face thing, and honestly, I've got a big studio. I've done a bit of face-to-face, but the virtual stuff, virtual work will continue for me for sure. And then honestly, for the live streams, just doing shows, look like our buddy Rhett Miller, who's crushed it with Stage It. He's done how many? 150 shows.
Just had his 200th show.
Yeah. And I tell you, Rhett was inspiring to me. And because before Corona, before Rhett and others like him really kind of demystified the virtual show, everybody kind of looked down their nose at things like Stage It, and I love, the brothers, Evan and Jaron that started Stage It, but I saw, Rhett, and look, in this business, the more you can say to yourself, oh man, that's a great idea somebody's doing, I'm going to do that, as opposed to diss it, like, oh, I can learn from that. I can get better from that. And that's been kind of part of helping me have a long career. But, I was like, I'm going to start doing Stage It shows. And really quickly, I reached out to all the people, like, what's Rhett doing? And they were like, you do a regular show consistently, have themes, So I was like, Taco Tuesday, that sounds lame enough. I'll do Taco Tuesday. But man, I was quickly doing better, doing a 50-minute show in my studio, and charge. I would charge $10 a head, and then people would tip, during the show. I was making more than a sold-out show at City Winery Chicago without having to fly there, the hotels, everything. And man, so the point is, to answer a long-winded answer to your question, not only is the writing going to continue once things open up virtually, but there will always be this live stream element, because I think your fans get something from a live stream show that they don't live, which is that connection. Like, they're texting me, requesting things, and it's really one-on-one. And if you're a performer and you could make that leap, because I'm sitting here playing in the studio by myself, there's no response or applause or laughter. Right. But if you can just feel yourself in the hotel room with that person. I don't know where's my head.
If you've never been to a Better Than Ezra show, hold on to your hat.
Hold on, or in their living room, in their kitchen, in their boudoir, whatever. Then you can have fun with it, and people feel that. A really good person who's great at that is Red. Matt Nathanson's really good at it.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of great things that have come from this. I'm a silver linings guy. A tireless optimist.
You always have been, my friend. It's one of the reasons we keep you around.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Tom DeSavia.
Whenever I try to do a Irish accent, it comes across as a mix between like British and sort of Hasidic. It never quite comes out right, so I'm going to not do it. But
mine turns into Caribbean. I always end up sounding like Shaggy.
Give me an example. Go.
Somebody dum rep. Dim the TV down gone in 30 minutes. Yep. Somebody dum yeah. See, and could you? It started off. Tell me just some dum rep. Yeah, I can't like never ever touch a kangaroo board. Somebody dum somebody yep. Somebody. I can't.
Did it hurt when you fell out of heaven? God bless you. Well, I want to go into this because our time is going quickly, as I knew it would, because we only get a half hour, hence the title. But
yeah, go
we've
ahead.
talked about you as a writer. Oh, yeah. We've talked about you as a performer. I like you getting that ready because we're jiving in a minute. But I want to talk very quickly. You can have your guitar ready. I'm gonna
be that guy on YouTube who just constantly does this.
Just do it. You can do like your version of a rim shot when you
go ahead. Sorry, you're trying to sign off, and I'm just riffing.
No, I'm trying to ask you another question. We got 10 more minutes.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. No,
can we curse? We can. We can curse with abandon.
Shut up. What I want to talk to you about is, aside from your life as a songsmith, I think you demand to be called.
Yes, songsmith. That was part of the agreement.
An entertainer for the time.
Tunesmith. Dan Wilson uses Tunesmith. I'll use Tunesmith too.
Tunesmith, I think, entertainer of our times, which I think you have over the hearth in your door when you walk in. You're also, I believe, to use another one of your $13 words, you're also sort of an entrepreneur.
I am a creative entrepreneur, Tom. Yes, I am.
I want to be very serious here. You were out jogging a bunch of years back, and tell me if I get this wrong. You drove by, you jogged by a big empty plot of lawn, and you land, and you said, "I'm going to throw a festival," and you partnered up with a bunch of chaps.
Yeah,
and you started the Pilgrimage Festival.
I did, man. It was the day after Thanksgiving in 2013 on a Friday. And I'd been overserved, I like to say, the day before. So I was like, I need to go run off this tryptophan and this wine. And I found myself a mile from my house here in downtown Franklin, Tennessee. And there's this 252-acre former Tennessee walking horse farm. And it's called the Farm at Harlansdale. And literally the sun came out from behind the clouds as I was catching my breath. And I was like, oh, my God. There's these, green rolling hills, natural amphitheaters, buildings on the historic register. I'm going to do a music festival like New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans, which I grew up going to. And I'm 18 miles from downtown Nashville. I'm a mile and a half from I-65 in the city that Southern Living and Garden and Gun magazine say is the coolest small town in America. And I ran home literally to a couple of buddies, because we all have those ideas that we drink when we're drinking with our friends. Man, we should start. We should do this. We should do that. And nothing ever comes from it. And one of those was talking about a festival. And man, I ran home. I called up my buddies, Michael Whalen and Brant Wood. We did a conference call that day. And I was like, I have the place. We're gonna take the DNA of New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and plop it into Middle Tennessee. And a year and a half later, we had our first festival in 2015. We had Willie Nelson, Wilco, Dr. John, Cage the Elephant, Band of Horses. Year 2, we had Beck, Hall & Oates, Jason Isabel. Year 3, we brought in a partner named Justin Timberlake. He played the festival with Eddie Vedder. And now here we are. We didn't have we've had such a great list of artists from Chris Stapleton, Jack White, Lionel Richie. And here we are. We just like every other festival, we were canceled in 2020, but
Right.
we're poised for September 25th and 26th. We're going to have pilgrimage, and we've got a full lineup booked that is insane. And so there's so much momentum happening for all festivals. All the spring festivals everybody loves have been pushed to the fall, right?
Right.
Like Bonnaroo, which is the first weekend in June, has been pushed to 3 weeks before pilgrimage, but it's at like a different demographic. So we're like, more power to you. But yeah, man, so it's still a moving target. Everything looks like thumbs up, but you just never know. So, with the evolving nature of Corona and stuff, but I would say 99.9%, barring some crazy variant outbreak, pilgrimage is going to happen 2021, and I can't wait to be doing the podcast with you from pilgrimage. That's our goal. That's my ask. That's my fee for you, is to come do some episodes with some of the artists.
Done.
At pilgrimage.
Done. Can I have a golf cart?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. You and Erica.
Erica have a golf cart. Erica, who will be, we'll just announce it here because it's in a coming date. Erica, who's going to be a future guest, the patron saint of music cares. I want her on here talking. So she will be being booked very soon. I've already.
And a little backstory. We speak of Erica Cruzen, and she is my fiance. Yes. And we were introduced by Tom DeSavia May 13th of 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. So, brother, I know that date. Yeah.
The date your life friggin' turned around. You became a better man. But yeah, that's all great, wonderful. Oh, hugs to you. That's great. I get the golf cart, right?
You get a golf cart. Yes. Okay. You'll get your own golf cart. You can customize it with the decor team, which you'll have like garlands and Christmas lights and stuff. It'll be.
I want a lot of garlands. Do you supply? Oh, we'll get into that later.
And look, if you want a bubble machine for your golf cart, you got to let me know now because they go fast.
Yes, I want a bubble machine for my golf cart. What do I look like, a caveman? Come on.
Oh, check this out. But I'm going to make you jealous because I got something that you're going to be jonesing for. It's a Super 73 electric bike. Have you seen these?
No.
Okay, after this, I'm not getting any money from these people. Go to super73.com, Tom. It's this bad. It looks like, remember that Honda Enduro 50 from like 1972 that you wanted? Maybe you had it.
I know. No, I did not.
This is it, and I'm gonna be the coolest guy at pilgrimage riding around on that.
Okay, can I get a smaller version so I can be?
You can get a Le Petite version.
Le Petite version. So we're just walking. We're just driving
Le Petite version.
Excellent.
Dum deep.
Grab your guitar. We got 4 minutes left. This is what I noticed. I went to the Wikipedia because I'm like, well, maybe I don't know stuff about him, and it does refer to you as American singer. That's your 2-line elevator pitch.
American man, I'm so unhappy with that Wikipedia, but you can't change it.
I love it though. It's just I kind of got American woman in my head. Just American singer. But I noticed when I was on there, it just says like one of your main points is skilled mimic.
Skilled mimic?
Yeah, it refers to you as skilled mimic. So I want the last few minutes. I want some skilled mimicking. How does this work? Do I throw out? Do you?
My really good impression is of Dave Matthews.
Prove it.
Okay, but here's what I'm going to rate. I'm going to set the bar really high. I'm going to write off the cuff as we speak, whilst we talk. I'm going to write the original Gone in 30 Minutes theme song, and then I'll segue into Dave Matthews and try not to go into Shaggy.
Perfect. Do it. Bring it in.
Woo-hoo. Everybody get around. Everybody got a 30 minutes. Yes, it is gone. Got a 30 minutes. Time to solve it, yeah. Got 30 minutes to some bandits till me gone in 30 minutes. Down to Sunday, don't drink the water and it's marching on a 30 minutes. Dum dum rum dum de shing da dum bum de shing da 30 minutes. Gone to got a 30 minutes. Yes, with Tom DeSavia.
God bless you. You magnificent bastard.
I need smelling salts. I have channeled the spirit of Dave Matthews. It drains your core, like when 11 would move shit with her mind and Stranger Things. Same thing happens to me.
It moved things. All I'm saying is that it's not me, but it's Laura and Lucy, the ones that make things move behind the scenes.
Yes,
Laura, our producer, and Lucy, our coordinator. But they demand that anything sung on this show, I get 100% of the publishing.
You get all of it. I know how you act, and I knew that.
Thanks, brah.
I knew how. I knew it. So go ahead.
No, you go.
You're still kind of tongue tied from that fucking
I am.
face melting song.
How do you come back after that?
You can't.
Throwing a baby in an animal act.
We could just wave goodbye and say goodnight.
I think it's time to do that, everybody. The king of New Orleans to the king of Nashville, my good buddy, Mr. Kevin Griffin. Gosh, I miss you, man.
Brother, I love you. You look great. Your beard, and I love your podcast and continued success with it. Anytime. Look, I'm serious. Pilgrimage 2021, September 25th, 26th. Let's line up some interviews with artists and do it.
Yes. I love you, man.
I love you.
Goodbye, everybody. Bring it in.